Listen carefully. This message did not reach you by accident. Out of millions of voices, thousands of distractions, endless noise around you, this one found its way to your heart for a reason. You may think this is just another video. Just another voice. Just another message about God. But something inside you paused. Something inside you stopped scrolling. Something inside you whispered, "Wait." That whisper was not random. Because change does not begin with noise. Change begins with a moment of silence. When God finally has your attention. You have been strong for too long. Strong when you were tired. Strong when you were broken. Strong when no one asked how you were really doing. You smiled when your heart was bleeding. You said, "I'm fine," when everything inside you was collapsing. You kept moving, not because you were okay, but because stopping felt dangerous. God saw that. He saw the nights you cried quietly so no one would hear. He saw the prayers you never spoke out loud because you were afraid to hope again. He saw the faith you carried even when answers did not come. And today, God says something simple, yet life-changing. This is where the change begins. Not tomorrow. Not when everything is perfect. Not when you feel ready. Here. Now. With you exactly as you are. You have been waiting for a sign, but God has been waiting for your attention. You kept asking for proof, while heaven kept asking for trust. Let me tell you something most people never realize. God does not change your life all at once. He changes one decision. One thought. One moment of surrender. And this moment, right now, is one of them. You are not weak because you are tired. You are tired because you have been strong without rest. You are not faithless because you doubt. You doubt because you care deeply. And you are not forgotten. You are being prepared. There are battles you survived that should have destroyed you. There are doors that closed that would have ruined you if they had stayed open. There are delays that saved you from destinations you were not meant to reach. You called them failures. God calls them protection. You see loss. God sees redirection. You see silence. God sees growth happening underground. A seed makes no sound while becoming a tree. Right now, God is asking you to stop looking at what you lost. And start noticing what you survived. Because the reason you are still here is not luck. It is purpose. There is a version of you that heaven is calling forth, stronger, calmer, wiser, unshakable. But that version cannot be born without this season. You wanted comfort. God wanted transformation. You wanted easy. God wanted eternal. And yes, it hurts sometimes. Yes, it feels unfair. Yes, there were moments you asked, "Why me?" But you never asked, "What is this making me?" God never wastes pain. Never. Not one tear. Not one sleepless night. Not one heartbreak. Everything is being woven into something meaningful. Even now. Even this moment. You may feel behind in life. You may feel like others are moving ahead while you are stuck. But heaven does not work on human timelines. A delay in your life is not a denial, it is a design. If God rushed you, you would arrive unprepared. If He revealed everything now, it would overwhelm you. So He reveals strength slowly. Faith daily. Purpose step by step. That is why this message is not loud. It is not dramatic. It is calm. Because truth does not need to shout. God is not here to scare you. He is here to awaken you. You do not need to become someone else. You do not need to fix everything today. You only need to take one honest step toward Him. Change does not begin when circumstances change. Change begins when perspective changes. And today, God is shifting how you see yourself. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not too late. You are not disqualified because of your past. If your past could cancel your purpose, you would not be breathing right now. The fact that you are listening means God still has plans for you. Plans bigger than what you lost. Plans stronger than what hurt you. Plans deeper than what you understand. So breathe. Let go of the guilt you were never meant to carry forever. Release the shame that God already forgave. Drop the fear that keeps you chained to yesterday. This is not the end of your story. This is the turning point. This is where the change begins. You are still here. And that itself means something powerful is unfolding. Because if this message was not meant for you, your heart would have wandered by now. Your mind would have looked for something easier, something lighter, something that does not require you to feel. But you stayed. And God notices who stays. There are moments in life when God does not speak loudly. He speaks deeply. So deeply that only the wounded, the searching, the honest ones can hear him. You have reached one of those moments. You have spent so much time trying to understand why things happened the way they did. Why people left. Why doors closed suddenly. Why prayers felt unanswered. But what if the real question was never, why did this happen? What if the real question is, who am I becoming because of this? Because the truth is, your pain changed you. Not in the way you expected. But in the way you needed. It made you more aware. More compassionate. More grounded. More careful with promises. More respectful of silence. You lost your innocence, but you gained discernment. You lost comfort, but you gained clarity. You lost people, but you found yourself. And God was there through all of it. Even when you blamed him. Even when you questioned him. Even when you pulled away. God never pulled away from you. There were moments you thought he was silent, but he was actually working quietly behind the scenes. Protecting you from what you could not see. Preparing you for what you were not ready to receive yet. You thought God was distant, but he was teaching you how to walk without holding on to fear. Sometimes God removes the support so you discover the strength he already placed inside you. You did not break. You bent. You adapted. You survived. And that survival was not accidental. There are people who would have collapsed under the weight you carried. People who would have given up where you kept going. People who would have lost faith where you chose to keep a small flame alive. Even when it flickered. Even when it almost went out. God saw that small flame. And today, he is breathing on it. You do not need to rush into the future. You do not need to prove anything to anyone. You do not need to explain your healing process. Growth is quiet. Real change is internal. The strongest transformations happen where no one is watching. You are becoming someone who no longer begs for attention. Someone who no longer settles for half-love. Someone who no longer fears being alone. Because you learned something important, loneliness with God is safer than company without peace. There was a time you feared losing people. Now you fear losing yourself. That is growth. That is wisdom. That is God's work. You are no longer the person who accepts anything just to feel wanted. You are no longer chasing validation from those who never saw your worth. God removed certain people not to punish you, but to free you. Free you from small thinking. Free you from emotional dependence. Free you from environments that were shrinking your soul. You asked God for peace. He answered by removing chaos. You asked God for clarity. He answered by removing confusion. You asked God for strength. He answered by allowing challenges. And now you stand here, changed, aware, awakened. This is not the end of your struggle. But it is the end of your confusion. You may still feel fear sometimes. You may still feel uncertain. But you no longer feel lost. Because now you know, God is not against you. He is shaping you. And shaping takes pressure. Diamonds are not formed in comfort. They are formed in darkness, under pressure, over time. And when they emerge, they do not look like what they once were. Neither will you. The version of you that is coming will not chase what once chased you. Will not beg where they once pleaded. Will not settle where they once stayed silent. That version of you walks with calm confidence, not because life is easy, but because faith is strong. God is teaching you how to trust Him without needing constant reassurance. And that trust is the foundation of everything that is about to change. You may not see it yet. But heaven is already moving. Doors are aligning. People are shifting. Circumstances are rearranging. Not because you forced them, but because you finally let go. This is what surrender looks like. Not giving up, but giving control. And in that surrender, God begins to move faster than you ever could. This is not coincidence. This is confirmation. You are exactly where you need to be. Learning what you need to learn. Becoming who you need to become. And this is still just the beginning. You are stepping into a moment that will not repeat itself. Moments like this do not announce themselves with noise or celebration. They arrive quietly, carrying weight, asking only one thing from you, honesty. Be honest now. Not with the world. Not with people who expect strength from you. Be honest with yourself. And with God. You have been pretending longer than you admit. Pretending you are okay. Pretending you are over it. Pretending you do not care. But God never asked you to pretend. He asked you to trust. And trust begins where pretending ends. You have learned how to survive. Now God is teaching you how to live. There is a difference. Survival is waking up and getting through the day. Living is waking up with purpose, even when the day is hard. For a long time, you were surviving. And God allowed it, because survival was necessary at that time. But that season is closing. Not because everything is fixed. But because you are ready. Ready to stop replaying old conversations. Ready to stop reopening wounds that already taught you their lesson. Ready to stop carrying pain like proof of loyalty. Some pain is not meant to be honored forever. Some pain is meant to be released. God is not asking you to forget what happened. He is asking you to stop letting it define you. Your story does not end where you were hurt. It turns where you decide to heal. And healing is not pretending it didn't hurt. Healing is accepting that it did, and choosing not to bleed on the future. There are things you lost that you still mourn quietly. Dreams you never talk about. Versions of life you imagine that never came true. God sees that grief. He also sees something else, the space those losses created. Because only an empty cup can be filled. Only open hands can receive. Only a surrendered heart can be trusted with greater things. You have been asking God for new doors, but your hands were still holding old keys. Keys to places you were never meant to return to. Keys to relationships that expired. Keys to identities you outgrew. God is gentle, but He is also precise. He will not pour new wine into old containers. So He waits. Not to punish you, but to protect what He is about to give you. There is a reason you feel restless lately. A reason old things no longer satisfy you. A reason familiar patterns feel uncomfortable now. That discomfort is not confusion. It is transition. You are between who you were and who you are becoming. And in between is where faith is tested. Because the old no longer fits. And the new is not fully visible yet. This is the space where many people turn back. But you are not like many people. You stayed. You listened. You allowed yourself to feel instead of running. That is courage. That is maturity. That is readiness. God is not rebuilding you to impress others. He is rebuilding you to withstand what is coming. The blessings you prayed for carry responsibility. The peace you desire requires boundaries. The future you want demands a stronger foundation. And that is what God is doing now. Strengthening your discernment. Sharpening your intuition. Quieting your need for approval. You will notice you react less. Explain less. Defend less. Not because you don't care, but because you finally know who you are. When you know who you are, noise loses its power. When you know who walks with you, fear loses its grip. And when you know God is guiding you, delays no longer feel like rejection. They feel like alignment. Everything you went through was preparation. Not to harden you, but to ground you. Not to isolate you, but to clarify your circle. Not to break you, but to awaken you. And now, something inside you is shifting. You may not have words for it yet. But you feel it. A quiet confidence. A steady calm. A deep knowing that you will be okay, even if things do not unfold the way you once imagined. That knowing is faith. Not loud faith. Not dramatic faith. But unshakable faith. And with that faith comes a promise. What God is about to do in your life will make sense of what once confused you. One day, you will look back at this season and realize, this was the moment everything changed. Not externally at first. But internally. And internal change is the most powerful kind. Because once you change on the inside, life has no choice but to respond. This is not the end of your waiting. But it is the end of your doubt. This is not the end of your journey. But it is the beginning of your becoming. And the change you have been waiting for. It has already started.